Hello, good morning, it's me again, it's Richard here, and it's Saturday morning. We've got a friend coming over this evening for dinner, and I decided to make a moussaka, a vegetarian moussaka, and I'm going to show you how to do it. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit before to explain to people who've never had one or never cooked one what exactly a moussaka is. Basically, it's a bake made of aubergines and normally meat, but we don't eat meat, so it's going to be a vegetarian version. So you've got aubergines, you've got a tomato sauce which is going to have loads of vegetables in it, and also you make a cheese sauce, a white sauce. Those are the three main elements of the dish, and then it's baked in the oven for probably around an hour in total. So I hope you enjoy it, and let's go into the kitchen. Okay, so here we are in the kitchen. And this is the pan that I'm going to be using to make the tomato sauce in. This is the denby bowl that I'm going to be using to build the moussaka. And that's enough to serve 3, maybe 4 people. I mean, you know, that's a relatively small portion each. But I'm actually going to be making enough sauce for 2 moussakas. So here are the ingredients. So we've got peppers. I've got 1 large pepper. I've got a leek. I've got about 6 small sticks of celery, about 3 onions, 2 fresh tomatoes, and about 4 medium carrots grated. A tin of tomatoes, which I've topped up with a little bit of water. I've got a tin of chickpeas. I've got some oregano, some basil, some marmite, some honey, balsamic vinegar, and again the vegetable vegan bouillon powder, and a glass of red wine. And I'll also be adding some black pepper. So I'm going to get on with cooking the sauce now, and I'll show you how to do it. It's really, really easy. Okay, so here we are. We're going to turn on the gas, and I'm going to put about a tablespoon of olive oil. Now, my method of making a tomato sauce is really, really easy. I basically bung everything in together. Let's just give that a stir in. Now, it looks quite full, but bear in mind that over time this is going to cook down. And the key to a good tomato sauce is to allow it to cook down over time. Okay, that's good. That's all amalgamated. Now I'm going to add my chopped garlic and these chopped tomatoes. Now, I don't take the skins off tomatoes because the skins contain lycopene, which is a very strong healing agent, and actually the lycopene is released when the tomatoes are cooked. So bear that in mind if you're a person that skins tomatoes. We were taught at school to skin tomatoes, and it's quite fun to do, but no, leave them on. It's good for you. And also, just so you know, I didn't peel the carrots. I scrubbed the carrots, but I didn't peel them because, again, you know, there are compounds in the skins of vegetables which are good for us. So we should eat, if when possible, we should eat the whole thing. Okay, that's coming along nice. Okay, now it's time to add the other ingredients. So I'm going to add the chopped tomatoes. This is a tin of chopped tomatoes with a little bit of water. I'm going to add some oregano, dried oregano. And I'm just going to add, that's probably 2 teaspoons. Pop that in. About the same amount of basil. Maybe a little less. There we go. I'm going to add a dessert spoon of honey. People are saying, honey? Yeah, honey. Okay, and my other secret ingredient, but I think it's essential, is Marmite. Even if you don't like Marmite, this is a great addition for seasoning. So just add that in like that. Marmite is quite thick, so you're going to need to stir it in. Just use the spatula to take it off. You don't have to use Marmite, but it's really good for getting that real nice savoury flavour. Now we're going to stir that Marmite and that honey in. Just stir it in. Good. Now I'm going to add a good dash of balsamic vinegar. Maybe some of you are thinking, but the tomatoes are acidic. Well, this again gives a depth of flavour. It's just a good dash. And then a glass of wine. A good glass of wine. I'm really tempted to have a sip of this now, but I'm not going to because it's far too early and I don't drink that much anyway. Pop that in. None of this burning the alcohol malarkey off. None of that. Don't worry about that. Just bung it in. It's for flavour and acidity, and just wine just gives a great depth. Now we're going to add the chickpeas, a tin of chickpeas. You don't have to add chickpeas, I'm adding them for an extra protein hit. And then finally I'm going to add a dessert spoon of vegetable bouillon powder. And this is a low salt version. It's a good amount because it's quite a large pan, so it can take that. So stir those in. I mean, you could add kidney beans, any, butter beans, anything really that you wanted to. You could even add soya. I do sometimes put soya in. And I'm literally going to put the lid on and let that cook down. Okay, that's good. I'm going to put the lid on now. Okay, I'm going to turn the heat down. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer it over to this back. Transfer it over here so it's out of the way. Turn that heat down. And I would give that as long as you need to give it. And the aubergines have got to cook, so just let it cook. It will benefit from leaving it as long as you can. Okay. Okay, so I've sliced 2 aubergines and I've sliced them quite roughly. I mean, I've not been too careful, but I guess they're roughly a centimetre, maybe half a centimetre thick. And I pop them into a bowl. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of oil. My hands are clean, by the way. Just going to put a little bit of oil over the top first of all. And that's probably a dessert spoon. And then I'm just going to go in and just distribute that first of all. Like that. Then put a little bit more on. It's just really drizzling the oil over. Make sure that they've all got a little bit of oil on them. That's not bad. I can see that most of them have got a bit of oil. Just put a little bit more. I think that will do fine. Now, some people soak aubergines in salted water. I don't do that. I don't think you need to. So I preheated the oven to about 180, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay these out on baking sheets. Okay, so I've lightly oiled 2 baking sheets. I've laid out the aubergines on them as, you know, separated as they can be. That's fine. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly dust with flour. So I'm just going to take a dessert spoon of flour. I'm going to try not to be too messy about this because I don't want to have to wipe the cooker down again. Then quickly turn them over. Don't worry if they're not all completely coated in the flour. The flour sort of helps to, I don't know, give structure to the aubergines. And ultimately it also adds to the thickness of the sauce. Okay, so we've turned them all over. We're just going to repeat that process. That's good. And these are going to go into the oven, which is now nice and hot. And we're going to leave them in the oven for about 20 minutes and then check on them. You don't want them to burn, so we're going to pop those in now. So let's check on the progress of the sauce, which has been on the back burner. So I'm just going to bring it round to the front. And you can see that this is cooking down beautifully. It's looking, the smell is absolutely lovely. It's got a nice herby, tomatoey smell. The ingredient that I neglected to put in earlier was black pepper. So let's give it a good amount of black pepper. I love black pepper. I always end up adding more because I just adore it, but that's a very good amount. I mean, you can make this sauce into anything you want. I mean, you could serve it with pasta, you could make it spicy and serve it with rice. You could add kidney beans to it, make it into a chili. The key, like I said before, is to let it cook down. I mean, this needs another, I don't know, I think it needs another 15-20 minutes probably. And that's fine because it can cook down whilst the aubergines are in. So let's let that continue to cook down. And it's also quite substantial. You know, it's got plenty of body to it. It's a substantial sauce, you know, so, and it's full of goodness. So we'll let that continue cooking. Okay, so that's the white sauce made, and I'm going to be flavouring the white sauce with cheese. I'm going to add that, and I'm going to take it off the heat now. Otherwise the cheese will overcook and the sauce risks separating. I'm also going to be putting some grated cheddar cheese on top of the dish once I put it together. So plenty of cheese in there. It's got to be a good flavour, the cheese sauce. It's an essential part of the dish. So just stir that in and let the cheese melt in the heat of the sauce, because like I say, if you start to boil this now, it can split. I'm going to flavour this with some English mustard. I'm just going to add a good teaspoon of English mustard. And literally that's it. I'm not flavouring that with anything else. I'm going to put a lid on that. And we're going to put that to one side. There we go, done. So, I've taken the aubergines out of the oven, as you can see, and if we have a look, they're starting to go golden brown. A couple of them are quite brown, but that's okay. And if you can see, they're cooked nicely. And we've got our tomato sauce there, we've got our cheese sauce there. We are almost ready to put the dish together. So the first thing I'm going to do, this is the dembi bowl that I'm going to build the moussaka in. I'm going to give it a layer of the cheese sauce, just a thin layer on the bottom. It's absolutely fine, not too thick a layer. And then you're going to start by just doing a little layer of aubergines. And just give it a gentle press down. Make sure all those aubergines are covered. That's good. Now you do your next layer of aubergines. So we've got a little bit of cheese sauce left there, which is great. That'll be definitely used tomorrow. Maybe on some pasta. So I'll put that into a Tupperware later. We've got loads of tomato sauce left, so that's good for another meal. Now, all that's left to do is pop some grated cheese on top of that, and we're good to go. Foil lid on. What I normally do is I normally cook that at about 160 Celsius in the middle of the oven for about half an hour, and then I take the lid off and cook it maybe for another 15-20 minutes, up to an hour, depending on how big it is. This is probably going to take less time than if I did a large one, which I have done in the past. It needs to bake in, and it needs to really, really amalgamate the flavours, and it's like a lasagna. Lasagna needs to bake in, you know, for it to be good. And there you have it. So I'm going to cook that, I'm going to put that in the oven and time it for when it's ready, which I would have thought we'll eat about 7:30 tonight. And I'll show you later how it turned out. So here we go. Here's the finished moussaka. It's been baked in the oven, and I've just cut it into portions and I'm about to serve it. So there we go, and we'll shortly see how the recipients enjoy it. So this is my friend Tiffany.
Hello.
And this is Paul. You know Paul already. And we're eating the moussaka. So guys, what do you think?
It's divine. It's very nice, very tasty.
Oh.
Lots of flavour.
Excellent.
Very nice.
Oh, I'm very, very pleased. Thank you very much.
Lovely. As
Yeah?
ever. As ever.
Oh, good. Thank you. We're going to go now and we're going to enjoy our dinner. So thanks for watching. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.